Hello and welcome. This is a short message from my hotel quarantine here in Melbourne. My name is Akasha and I wanted just to tell you a little bit more about my beautiful universe calendar. I have about 20 more left to sell and I would love for you to be the recipients of one. So I made this calendar based on 12 paintings I did in Bali. I've been living in Bali for most of the year. And these paintings are all about inner connection. So the universe, the concept is, and what I believe, is that we are a microcosm, human beings are a microcosm of the universe. So we have everything that is outside is within us, and we are very complex beings. And I liken this, our inner workings is like the inner workings of the universe. We have galaxies, star systems, planets, moons, suns. All of these things are within us. And also within us is all of the elements that are in the outside world. So we are made up of the 5 elements: air, water, earth, fire, and space, ether. So if we are able to work with our inner nature and understand our inner universe, then we are able to better manifest the outer life that we desire. We are better able to manifest our dreams, make our dreams come true, because that is what we are all here for. That's what I believe. So I want to just show you some of the months from the calendar. So the calendar also, it's made in Bali, this version. There's a handmade version and there's a print-on-demand version. So this version I have about 20 left. It's made in Bali on handmade paper that's made from recycled. All the paper is made from recycled paper by this beautiful company, Saraswati Papers, who employ about 20 Balinese women making their beautiful paper products every day. So for me specifically, they made this beautiful pink, pale pink, dusky pink color. And it was a very interesting process for me, the making of the calendar, because I assumed, I put in my order early November, I think it was, and for about 200 calendars, 100 calendars. And I assumed that it would take a week or something to make, that I would put in the order, and then the next week I would get my 100 calendars. But I really didn't understand that it's a very, very artisanal project, artisanal process, that this company uses to make all their paper. And they literally had to produce all of the paper that all these calendars are made on first, before they went into the printing and production process. And because they're making this beautiful dusky pink color specifically for me, they also had to produce this pink color directly or from scratch. They didn't have any paper that they could use to make this calendar. So also it's wet season in Bali now. Wet season starts around November, December. So all of the paper is actually dried directly outside the office. So there's a laneway down one side of the office in Kuta in Bali, and there's all these aluminium frames where the paper is drying in the sun. So on the rainy days, which we get a lot of in wet season, they can't actually make the paper. So this also interrupted the production process quite a bit. So to make all of my calendars, it actually probably took more like a month than a week. So it's a very artisanal and very amazing, beautiful process involving the mulching of all the recycled paper, the putting in the pigments for the color, drying it all out in the sun, and then cutting it up into the right size in order to print all of the paintings on. So each month has a message and also has a quote, and also has, you'll see the new moon and the full moon, the dates of the new moon and the full moon. So I have to get my glasses to read the messages. Okay, back. So for January, it says, "You are vaster than you can imagine. Just like the universe, you contain worlds within you. No wonder life can be hard sometimes. We are like our own universe, with star systems and galaxies within us, orbiting around our central sun, our heart." And the quote from January is from Walt Whitman, an American poet. "Do I contradict myself? Very well. Then I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes." So moving on to February, which is my birthday month. I'm a Pisces. So this is probably my favorite painting of the calendar. This is your inner space. So connect each day with your inner space in order to tune in to your unique channel of downloads from the universe. It's designed especially for you. A daily meditation practice, even of 15 minutes each morning, will connect you to your inner space. And the quote from February is, "Inner space is the real frontier," from Gloria Steinem. So I love this quote. Gloria Steinem is a really well-known feminist in the States. And I love this quote because this is what I believe. Inner space is where we do all our deepest work in the world, and from our inner space we then share our gifts. And so this is really the revolutionary space. This is where all the change happens, I believe. And if we are able to work with all our inner workings and our find peace inside of our inner universe, then we are able to much more easily share our gifts with the world, share ourselves with the world, and be less reactive and more responsive. And so we're able to have a much bigger impact in what we do in our work life and in our family life. So I'm not going to go through every month, but this is March. This is Nature Spirits. So this is about connecting regularly with nature, something I cannot do right now from my quarantine. And recognizing that we are really just the same as the plants and the animals. We have all the same elements inside of us. And so we really need regular connection with nature in order to be well. And the quote from this month is from Henry David Thoreau, the author of the book Walden, where he basically spent a year living in a small forest next to a pond, built his own house, and wrote a book about the experience. So the quote is, "I took a walk into the woods and came out taller than the trees." So it's an amazing book. I recommend you read that book if you haven't yet read Walden by Henry David Thoreau. It's a meditation on nature, inner and outer nature. April is cloud navigation. So this is about navigating our thought energy. So the energy of thought in Ayurveda is understood to be associated with the element air. Emotions is associated with the element water, and thought with air. So the quote in April is, "Some days your inner space is covered with clouds and you can't see clearly. These days you need to activate your cloud navigation system, helping you to keep floating happily, even through doubt and uncertainty clouds. Eventually it will rain and they will dissolve." And the quote from April is from Maya Angelou, another amazing author. "Try to be a rainbow in somebody's cloud." So beautiful quote from Maya. Oh, I forgot to show you the very first page after the cover. It's just a list of all the days and dates in the year. And then let's go to June. This is June. Your North Star. So your North Star is your guiding light. What have you come here on to Earth to experience in this lifetime? What is your highest goal in life and your deepest desire? What knocks on the door of your mind in the middle of the night? This is your North Star, whatever it is that knocks on the door of your mind in the middle of the night. And the quote from June is from Thomas Fuller. "A mariner must have his eye on the rocks and sands as well as upon the North Star." So you see the details in your life, but you need to always be guided by your highest calling. Okay, I'm going to show every single one. I'm going to keep some as a surprise for you for when you get your calendar. This one is August, your inner sun. Your inner sun is your heart, which is constantly shining its loving light out for you and for all whom you meet. If you ever feel lonely, connect with your inner sun by putting your hands on your heart and feeling its rhythm. And the quote is from Sri Chinmoy, who is, I think he was Indian, musician, poet, a meditation teacher, an amazing man who was a great flautist. So I also studied the flute growing up, so I have a connection with flautists. To hope is to feel the presence of the inner sun. The inner sun is, the outer sun becomes. So I think that's a nice quote that matches up with this universe theme. And I will skip ahead to December. December is Moon Dance. Blue theme for December. So I usually like to use December as a time for reflection and going inwards and understanding the lessons of that year past. So that's why the December theme is yin, is connecting with our feminine nature, our inner nature. So Moon Dance. You're coming to the end of another journey around the sun in this magical life of yours. Remember to dance by the light of the moon, which reflects your inner beauty in its luminosity. The moon is the feminine, the yin side of our nature, our place of softness. And you can see in this painting, it's massive moon and the softness of the moon coming all the way down onto the beach. This is inspired by the beach. I live in Bali by a black sand beach, which is just amazingly beautiful. And the quote from December is from Edward Lear, who is an author of children's books, but his books are also really interesting for adults. And hand in hand on the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon. And then the last page has all of the paintings from the calendar. And then it's the back page. It's our galaxies and our star systems. And it's all held together by this beautiful little pink ribbon. So there is no plastic waste involved here. It's all very artisan product. So that's it. I would love you to have one of the last remaining 20 or so copies, only for those in Australia at the moment. So go to my website and check it out, akashalove.life/calendar. And if you're not in Australia, you can still get the calendar as a print-on-demand version from Amazon. It has all of the same paintings, all of the same texts, but the print-on-demand one doesn't have the quotes. But otherwise, it's the same content. And you can also get a bigger one. You can get an A3 size for that. So thank you for listening. Wishing you and your inner universe a beautiful day. Namaste.